Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you so much for calling this important hearing. A couple of comments in response to my friend and colleague, the ranking member in his opening. If WinRed is doing something to make it easier for foreign actors to donate by having massive numbers of small donations sent in, more than happy to look into that, as well as Act Blue. Have no problem with that. Further, I would point out that while you mentioned Elon Musk, who is a U.S. citizen, you didn't mention George Soros, who also is a U.S. citizen, but both of those have given money and each side gets one. Sometimes y'all get more than we do, but you know, when it's U.S. money, that's not the focus of this hearing. Ms. Sutherland, I was interested in your comments about the U.K. Labour Party recruiting and trying to send folks, or sending folks over here to work in the Harris campaign, because it's interesting, in today's online version of the London Times, there is an article about how they're worried we're going to return the favor and send money over to the Reform Party, and so now they're looking at tightening up their laws related to foreign activities in the UK. That's, I don't have personal knowledge, but that's according to my reading of this morning's London Times online edition. And speaking of your work, Ms. Sutherland, I would like to ask unanimous consent for Ms. Sutherland's report, Americans for Public Trust, Foreign Influence in State Ballot Issues, How 1630 Funds Pipeline of Foreign Cash Impacts State Politics, April 2024, be entered into the record.
Without objection.
All right, that being said, Mr. O'Neill, the Virginia Attorney General J.C. Meirez is looking into Act Blue and whether online fundraising entities are following federal law and preventing foreign actors and other prohibited donations from entering U.S. elections process. Meirez is also looking into whether U.S. citizens' identities are being fraudulently used to make donations in their name without their approval to various candidates. And this touches on something else that Mr. Morelli was talking about, is somebody really know that their money is being given in their name. Meirez's team informed my office that while the Attorney General is receiving a number of tips about potential fraudulent donations, the only way they have to identify or to verify people listed as donors, are actually the donors whose name appears on the donation, is to send a staffer to the home of the person in question and knock on the door to verify their identity. There's got to be a better system, a better way of verifying that the donations are legitimate. So I ask you, in your experience with asset forfeiture, are there easier ways to verify identities than spending the man-hours to knock on the door of every name you're investigating? And of course, asset forfeiture doesn't have quite as strict rules as when you're trying to set up a potential criminal case, and those have to apply, you have to apply criminal evidence standards. So you got an easier way we can do that?
I wish I could say that there was a straightforward way to verify digital identities currently. What I will say is the system for identifying individuals is really quite broken. Since at least 1999, every single one of ours, if we're old enough, name, DOB, social, address, previous address, mother's maiden name, bank account information, email address, email password has been available online for sale for probably less than 2 cents a piece. And so that makes it very easy for bad actors to steal other people's identities, because when you look at what cyber criminals are doing, which is taking advantage of the elderly, the incarcerated, and children to take over identities, it makes it fertile ground in order to...
Certainly people would want to do that in elections too. I hate to cut you off, but I'm going to try to get another question in before my time runs out. Mr. Bowman, spamouflage is one of China's apparently propaganda operations, and they have taken a special interest in Senator and current Secretary of State nominee Marco Rubio. Clemson University's Media Forensics Hub reported that on the morning of his most recent election, X exploded with around 20,000 messages spanning 6,500 different accounts with strange messages about Mr. Rubio. Further, they found anti-Rubio articles posted on places such as Medium and Reddit. All these posts were traced back to China and Spamouflage, their network of accounts. This is concerning a clear example of foreign interference in our elections. But how do we maintain free speech while also ensuring that foreign adversaries are not spreading propaganda on our public forums with the intent to either sway elections or, as you previously testified, to divide Americans?
Thank you, Congressman, for the question. As my colleagues highlighted in a research memo published this morning at fdd.org, spam
I
and
haven't read that one yet.
yeah. No, I know you're busy, but yeah, just flagging it for you and your staff. Spamflage is a big deal. It involves a vast network of fake accounts on social media. They typically have pushed out low-quality content that, with a few exceptions, garnered little, happy to report, little organic engagement on social media. A notable trend with spamiflage this election cycle was that it leveraged anti-Semitic tropes to criticize both the American political system and specific candidates. To your broader question, eyeing the clock here, I think it's important to distinguish between foreign adversaries trying to influence our democracy and undermine our democracy in an opaque manner, and what American citizens are doing unconstitutional. I know you understand that, sir, but I just think it's a very important distinction that we should highlight.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Mr. Chairman, I'm going to yield back. I apologize. I find this to be a very interesting hearing. I appreciate the witnesses. I still have about 300 pages to go on the CR, and they're now saying they might vote this afternoon, so I got to go back and read that.